What's going on, everybody? It's fucking Zach here. So today I kind of wanted to go over my guitar rig that I use at shows and also for practicing. I use this back with Alloy and I will be using it with Rats as we start to do more shows. It's a pretty bare bones setup. It's very simple. So if you want to kind of use this as a jumping off point to, I don't know, start your rig off or maybe give you some ideas for what you want, that's kind of what I'm here to do today. All right, let's go check out some guitars first. So these are the two guitars that I use most often live. There's no real method onto which one I pick over the other. These two just work the best and the pickups are the least noisy. So my amp isn't freaking out the second I plug them in. I take this tuner, this little clip-on, with me to every show. It's just useful to have and it relies on vibration and not sound. So it works a lot better than your cell phone. Ideally, I would have a tuner pedal, but I currently do not own one. I also trade out the V for this Les Paul every now and again, but lately it's been broken, so I just haven't been taking it to shows for the last, give or take, 8 months. I really need to fix that thing. But yeah, these are easy to work on, which sounds blasphemous given that this one is a Floyd Rose, but I personally don't have problems with working on them. They just take some time. And yeah, there's I'm not too picky with guitars, but all I really need them to do is sound good through a high gain amp. And yeah, one more thing I'll mention is for shows, definitely get yourself some strap locks. They save your life, and nothing looks funnier than a guitar falling off a guy at a show. It just screams that you're unprepared. Especially when these exist. They're not that expensive. Put them on your guitar. Like, honestly, if you can afford a guitar like this, there's no reason that you can't afford strap locks. Put them on, they'll save your life. So I'll also mention the price, just in case you'd like to know how much a rig like this costs. So this guitar we bought brand new for $1,500. You don't have to go this crazy on a metal guitar to get good results, but having a nice guitar is just nice to have, honestly. Like, you don't need it, but if you can have it, why not? This guitar, I got it for about $700 on Marketplace. I bought it secondhand after all the mods were done to it. It was a steal, honestly. I think he put way more than $700 into this thing over the years. But yeah, two beauty guitars. The Les Paul over there that I use sometimes, my dad picked that up for $500 for me on Marketplace when I was a teenager. So yeah. You don't have to pay too much for it. Like, obviously they're not cheap, but you don't have to go crazy like I did on this one. Now for the amp, this is a Randall RX120RH on top of a Randall 4x12 cabinet. So there's 2 channels in this amp, clean and an overdrive. Very bare bones, very simple. I like simple because I am simple. Here's my amp settings if you want to copy them for whatever reason. You could sound just as shitty as me. Master volume and a reverb. And yeah, I'll turn it around and show you the backside. So I've got the amp turned around. So power supply in right here. Speaker outputs, we have a mini load and a 4 ohm output, which is a small output for 120 amp. But this is solid state, so it doesn't deal with like huge amounts of power. We have a ground and a lift switch. We have a tape CD in with a right and left channel. An effects loop that I don't really use because every time I plug something in there, it just starts screaming at me no matter which way I plug it in. So I just tend not to use it. And we have a foot switch in and channel reverb in, which I will show you the foot switch once we get to pedals, but this is just the input for the control. And yeah, there's not much else to it. I picked this up used for about $500, head and cab combined. I got another steal of a deal. The guy just wanted to get rid of it, so lucky me, I guess. So yeah, I'll take you down to the pedal board now. All right, here's my very, very simple pedal board. There's lots of things I'd like to add to this to make it a little bit more legit. But this is the setup we got going on now, and this setup I pretty much used throughout the later years of my high school days. So starting on the right, we have a Digitech Whammy. I don't use the Whammy too much, like I only use it here and there. What I'm really interested here is the down tuner that we have here, the pitch shifter. So you can pitch down 7 semitones and then an octave. And then you can do an octave dry and dirty, or sorry, octave and dry. So you can do like cool octave effects. And then you can do the same thing going up on this pedal. They do sell drop pedals, which is just this black section that goes down and the switch, and you can turn on momentary, but it's not its own switch. Over here we have a harmonizer, specific intervals, but it doesn't do, you can't import a key, so it sounds very funny if you try to use it. And then we have whammy and different intervals that you can have the expression pedal set to. And then the bypass for the expression switch. Now you'll notice on some of my pedals, I have these little caps on the switches. It's just to make it easier to hit them when I'm not wearing shoes in my bedroom. And then even easier when I am wearing shoes at like a show. So that's what those are for. Next, we have a Crybaby Wah by Dunlop. This is a Crybaby classic. Works just like any other wah. You stomp down on it till it touches the button, and then you have the expression on. Stomp it back down till the button is hit again to turn it off. Really not much to it. This is one of my more rare pedals. This is a Ryan Adams VCR. By JHS. I only use the chorus on this because the reverb is currently busted. The switch just doesn't work. It's like sunken in. So another thing I have to fix. But for now it works just fine as a chorus because I have my amp reverb. Over here, this is a Boss noise suppressor. I actually bought the wrong thing. I wanted a noise gate. But this works fine. It kind of fixes the problem of excessive noise in my signal, but it doesn't completely get rid of it. So yeah, I am looking for a noise gate, but this will do for now. This is a Earthquaker Devices Plumes pedal. I think that's how you say it anyways. This is an overdrive. I have it on my signal with the drive pretty much all the way down just to tighten up the low end. Because when you're playing low, and especially with this thing, it introduces lots of mud into the signal, lots of low end mud. So this just kind of tightens it up artificially. So that's the only reason it's there. It's just to tighten up it doesn't have any extra level. It doesn't have any extra gain. It just got a little bit of tone to tighten up the low end. And then down here by itself, this is the foot switch for the amplifier. This isn't the original foot switch. I actually busted the old one. It took a fall and it just fell right apart. So I got this one. This is, oh my God. This one is made out of steel. This is a Hughe and Kettner foot switch. It is the only foot switch I can find that works with this amp, because the other ones just wouldn't. But yeah, it's got the same little buttons that all my other pedals do. My overdrive has it. My VCR has it. And then these two don't need it. I'd like to add a tuner here, and then maybe something else, like a delay or something like that. But for now, this is all I really need to get through a show. Also, my power supply currently is daisy-chained. I don't plan to keep it like this forever. I do want to get a power supply that runs each pedal separately, like the cabling is separate, so it's not all running in series like this. But for now, this is what I got. Also, I didn't mention this when I was showing the guitars, but I have this kazoo attached to my strap. So I use this at rat shows. One of the covers we do has a ska section with a horn. And since none of us know how to play a horn or own a horn, I decided it would be funny if I just used a kazoo. It's kind of like that I don't give a fuck mentality of punk rock. But I also think it's just hilarious when I pull out a kazoo and do like a ripping solo on it. So yeah, this also comes with me to shows. All right, so now I'm going to take you through the cost of building a rig like this. This is not to flex. This is not to anything like that. This was built over a long time and with a lot of help. A lot of these things were bought for me when I was a teenager. What I'm trying to do here is show you what it's going to cost to build a rig like this, not to show off. So let's get into it. So I have hard shell cases for my guitars. That way they can travel in a trailer if they need to, or with lots of gear if they need to for shows. And I'm never going to be worried about them getting broken. So the case for the Charvel was $165. It's just a basic Strat case, just from Long & McQuaid, like fit whatever guitar in there that's the right size. And then the V is a little bit more tricky. So I have a Gibson V case and it is $300. It is only $300 because Gibson's name is on it. Like, it's well built and everything, and it's got a lock, like, cool. But I know you're upcharging us for the name. All right, my Charvel is $1,500. So you don't need a guitar that's worth that much. And my V is $700. Again, you don't even need a guitar that's $700. You can get by perfectly fine by modding a $400 guitar, or even just playing a good $400 guitar. You have to look for them, but they do exist. The reason I take two guitars to shows with me is because one is set up in a standard tuning and the other is set up in a drop tuning. E standard and drop D. Now my Whammy takes care of the rest, but instead of sitting there fiddling with it, things can go wrong. You can overshoot it. It can take too long and they can just decide to start the next song. I don't want to deal with that shit. So what I do is I just keep one in one tuning and one in the other. It also allows me to use the floating bridge while changing tunings. It just works out that way. But that is why I take two. When I do the final cut, I'm also not going to put the Les Paul in there because you don't need three guitars. It's just nice to have a backup or an alternative guitar. But you don't need a lot of guitars to play shows. You need one, maybe two, if you're really getting into the nitty gritty of tunings and all that. Now the amp was $500. Again, steal for a 4x12, but you don't need a 4x12. Truth is when you're playing bars, they actually hate it when you bring in an amp that big. Like if you bring just the head and use their cabinet, they're fine with it. But there's no need to have a 4x12 at a bar or at a club. You can get away with a combo amp or with a 2x12 with a head on it. But I got the 4x12 just because I found a good deal for it and the guy was willing to give it to me cheap. Now the Whammy is $500. You can get away with using just the drop pedal for, I don't know, $250, $300, give or take. But the big unit is worth $500 that has the Whammy and the D-tuner in it. Now the VCR is tricky. I couldn't find an official price for it because it is rare and it is discontinued. When I looked at Reverb, it said anywhere from $250 to $300 or $350. So I married it in the middle and I made it $300. So the Crybaby was worth $180. Again, it's just to have a wah, just to have something I can coat my sound with every now and again. I don't use it too often, so you don't really need it on your board, but I have it there anyways. So the noise suppressor, I paid $160 for that at Long & McQuaid. Not bad for the unit. I just wish I got a noise gate instead because that's what I need. So the Plumes pedal is worth $160. The foot switch, the Hughe Kettner foot switch, is worth $60. So the board that I have it on is a pedal train board. It is a pedal train junior because it's smaller than the other pedal train that's out there. That was worth $190. It comes with a huge roadworthy case, so it is very much worth it. Again, never gonna be scared that those things are gonna get broken unless you like actually throw it like 30 feet out in the air, but it's very unlikely. Now when all of that comes around, you're at about $4,000, which is insane. Like, you do not need to pay that for a guitar rig. Maybe I'll make a video later on where I go online shopping and try to build a guitar rig for cheap that has all the essentials on it, but that'll be for a different day. This is what I use for my shows. And hopefully this gives you an idea for what you want to use if you're building a rig or if you want to add something to your rig. But yeah, I hope this helps. And we'll see you next time.